Hi students, welcome back to Geology. We are now focusing on the modes of preservation of the fossils we discussed in the last video. So we're going to see how they can be preserved. So your pondering question for this video is, most organisms decay quickly after death, so why do some become fossils instead? So essentially, what makes a fossil fossilize? All right, so in the last video, I mentioned with the body fossils that we were going to talk about unaltered and altered remains. So we're going to start with our unaltered body fossils. So these could either be original skeletal material, tar impregnation, amber entombment, refrigeration, or mummification. And so here there's no chemical alteration to the fossil material. And we will look at what that looks like in each of these individually and give you some examples. So the original skeletal material, you have the hard parts of the original organism and they are preserved. Okay, so this happens a lot with our shelled organisms in the ocean. So things like gastropods or ammonites. It's a lot harder for this to happen in really large, what we would call something like a megafauna, so a really large organism, because you need fast sediment deposition, which happens a lot in the ocean, but not so much on land, to preserve the original skeletal material and then nothing to alter it. There's also tar impregnation, which is when tar seeps into the organism's hard parts and preserves it from there. Tar is a sticky asphalt-like material that's naturally occurring. It's found a lot in California. There's a couple of different places. There's the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, and there's also the McKittrick tar pits, which are in the Bakersfield kind of area, kind of east of Bakersfield. And they've preserved a lot of our Pleistocene megafauna, like saber-toothed cats, mammoths, dire wolves, giant ground sloths, short-faced bears. A lot of those have been preserved in these tar pits. And so what the tar kind of looks like, how this would happen, is the tar is often covered by grass or it's covered by water, and an organism just gets stuck. It's kind of like a quicksand situation, but it's really hard to get. If you ever visit the La Brea tar pits, they have some kind of demos where you can try to pull yourself out of the tar. So you have this like plunger looking thing that you're trying to pull out of the tar, and it's just so sticky. It's so hard to get out of. And if an organism got stuck, maybe trying to get some water or just walking along the grasslands, they might be scavenged by another organism, or they starve because they can't get access to the food they need and they die. Okay, and then they are preserved by the tar. Amber entombment has to do with tree sap. So this generally is not going to preserve something like a dinosaur, but it would preserve insects. So this is what they use in Jurassic Park to reconstruct the dinosaurs. So they have mosquitoes in these amber pieces that they extract DNA from mosquito, as if the mosquito had bitten a dinosaur, and they extract the DNA, and then that's how they reconstruct dinosaurs. They mix it with frog DNA and make dinosaurs. But here, these insects would get stuck in saps of tree, which is that sticky stuff that comes off of trees. And then eventually that will get buried and it can become amber. And so then you have this fossilized entire body of some sort of an insect preserved in the amber. Refrigeration does not mean putting the fossil in the fridge. This happens if glaciation is occurring. So if we have like a glacial maximum and there's freezing and ice sheets, when things die, they can be preserved in ice. Now, this is one of the amazing ways that we've learned about mammoths, because even their hair can get preserved in ice. So if you think about what you could, for example, when you buy meat at the supermarket, they say in order for it to last long, you put it in the freezer, right? And so it can last for a long time in there. Would you want to eat it after, a couple of years? Probably not, but it's still preserved in that freezer, right? So the same thing can happen with mammoths that are preserved in ice long term. What's really cool is we have pulled out some baby mammoths that we've found. This one happened to die 39,000 years ago. And one of the cool things they found in the hair is that some of the hair was red, which is different than what we might have thought previously. But we wouldn't necessarily know that from fossils that were just buried by sediment and all of the soft part decayed and the hair wasn't there anymore. We wouldn't have seen it in tar impregnation. So this is a really unique way for us to see a lot about the organism. Mummification is similar, but this is when bones and tissues of the organism are preserved through sediment. Okay, so even the skin and hair can retain their color here as well. A fossil mummy of a hadrosaur was air dried, which is what this one is here, before natural burial, and then it was fossilized, and the impression of the skin was put into the sediment. And so we could see even what the pattern of the surface of the skin would be because it was so well preserved. Okay, these are generally really, really fragile fossils. And they are usually just turned straight over to museums and they're kept in the back if not on display. Sometimes they are replicated so that they can put them on display, but they keep the actual fossil in the back so that it stays nice and preserved. All right, moving on to altered body fossils. These can come from any type of organism that go under certain conditions. So we'll talk about each of those conditions in a second. But they have some sort of chemical or physical change to them. So this could be permineralization, replacement, recrystallization, or carbonization. We'll go through these individually as well. So permineralization is the first one we'll talk about. This is when hard parts of bones, shells, and plants are filled with something. So some sort of dissolved minerals and water fill in pore spaces that are found in any of these examples. We have a fossil pine cone, there's a dinosaur bone, or another pine cone that's been cut in half. This is also how we see something like petrified wood, where in those pore spaces in the wood, material dissolved, or minerals dissolved in water would have collected in those holes or those voids essentially, and it would recrystallize and mineralize itself and preserve it. The other option, this also involves dissolved minerals in groundwater, is replacement. So this happens when the minerals that are dissolved in groundwater completely replace the hard parts of the buried organisms. So in the last one, it's just filling pore spaces. In this one, it's replacing the entire thing. So you don't have any remains of the actual skeleton left. So an example here, we have some ammonites, a log, the ammonites on the bottom there, this kind of center bottom, that is replaced by pyrite, for example, which is fool's gold. Another thing that could help preserve these fossils is recrystallization. This is a chemical change of the existing hard parts. So in an ammonite, for example, it is made up of calcium carbonate shells. And if it recrystallizes, that calcium carbonate becomes calcite and then preserves the fossil. Okay, so there's no actual part of the fossil left. It's just all calcite now, but it preserved what the fossil looks like. And then carbonization, I mentioned in the last video, just as kind of a precursor. This is when soft parts can be preserved. If the organism that has soft parts gets buried quickly and it's squeezed and preserved and there's no oxygen, then you're going to basically see this kind of impression of the carbon on the sediment. So here are some examples. The fish is probably the most common sample that I see being sold and being used as an example as well. But we can also see other things like cockroaches or leaves preserved with carbonization. Next, we're going to look at trace fossils. First one here is molds and casts. So this is basically like making an impression of whatever organism it is. So for example, if we're looking at a gastropod cast or a fossil seed or a mold, the shell would actually impress into the sediment and create the mold. So the mold is kind of the impression. and then other sediment would fill in that mold and create the cast. Okay, so you want to think of this like cupcakes. The cupcake tray is the mold, and the cast is the actual cupcake. Okay, so, but it's all just sediment, so you don't have any of the material left. You just have an impression of the material. So, like you pressed it into Play-Doh, essentially, and then you filled that impression with something else. You have then a cast of the mold from the impression. We talked about burrows a little bit already. Burrows are holes left behind by some sort of worm-like organism that was slithering through the sediment, and it left a cavity behind if that cavity wasn't filled with sediment. And so that's a trace fossil of an organism that would have wiggled its way through some soft sediment. Tracks are also a form of impression, so it's technically a mold. But if we see some sort of footprint in the sediment that is preserved and wasn't washed away, then we consider those trace fossils that are tracks, and they can tell us something about how quickly the organism moved, the way that it walked, if it had 2 or 4 limbs, all of that good stuff. And then coprolites, which is everybody's favorite. This is fossilized poop or feces. Technically, there is no actual feces left. It's all been replaced by rock. So this is just rock that is in the form of poop. And it can tell us a lot about what the animal ate, what it hunted maybe, the health of the organism, all of that good stuff. All right, so your little test for this one is to name that preservation method. So pause this video, try to see if you can figure it out, and then I'll come back. All right, so A is permineralization. That is petrified wood. So it would have had some sort of dissolved water that filled the pore spaces and recrystallized and preserved it. B is our recrystallization. So that was that ammonite that I showed you where the calcium carbonate shell recrystallized into calcite. C is our amber entombment. You can see the insect in there in that amber sap. And then D is tar impregnation. I didn't mention it, but tar generally has this like rich brown, maybe almost on like a red spectrum tint to the organism's fossils once they're preserved from tar. All right, in summary, body fossils can be preserved as altered or unaltered remains. Trace fossils show how the organisms lived. We can see casts and molds, or we can see tracks and burrows and coprolites. In your notes, I would like you to name one mode of fossil preservation and explain how it preserves the organism. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.